Today I wanted to talk about hairbrushes, as there's a real common misconception that you just need one and it's going to do every job that you want it to. That's not true. There are lots of different types of brushes available for lots of different functions and purposes. I've got about 8 different ones within my collection. I don't have really long hair, I don't have really complex styles, but I do use them for lots of different purposes and to get a slightly different approach or to look after my hair. It's also worth noting that it's great to invest in a couple of really good hairbrushes. They're not the kind of thing that will get tatty or break or just sort of cease to function really quickly. They do last a long time, so it's well worth spending a little bit in a couple of great brushes that are really sturdy, that really do what you want them to do, look after your hair, and will see you through for the foreseeable future. So these are the ones that I'm going to talk you through, and these are the brushes that I've got in my collection. They are all really reasonably priced, they're all really affordable, but they just make a big difference to my routine and enable me to style my hair exactly how I want it. So first things first, my kind of everyday brushes that I use to comb through my hair when it's wet or when I'm sort of in the midst of styling. I've got a couple of really great brushes from Ecotools. Now, this is one of their newest ones, and I love it because not only is it slightly curved and slightly rounded, which makes it easier to grip your hair and to comb it through gently. You don't get a horrendous drag. But it also has, you can see here and you can see on the back, some really great air vents. So if you do want to use these with a hairdryer, it's just much more effective and quick to dry your hair because the air can escape and the brush doesn't get extremely hot. If you actually get a really hot brush on your hair, it can be as damaging as using hair straighteners. So they're really great for just kind of everyday brushing and styling. I've also got a paddle brush from the collection. And again, it's got some fab air vents at the reverse and a really soft texture. The bristles are really soft. This can be used if you've got slightly longer hair and you want to dry it straight. So you want to minimise the amount that you're relying on your hair straighteners and actually do most of the work when you're drying your hair with your hairdryer. Now this can be used to literally comb through the hair and hold the hair in place so that you can really get that action on the hairdryer and smooth it straight. These have got great lightweight bamboo handles as well, which make them super light to use repeatedly and to comb through your hair if you're spending a lot of time styling your hair and using the hairdryer. These are really lightweight, they're not heavy, they don't give you that horrendous arm ache you can sometimes get when you're styling your hair, and they're really affordable. I think this is about $10.99. And it's well worth that price. It's well worth investing in a couple of really good brushes. So these are definitely my faves. Another brush that I use really regularly to comb through wet hair in particular is this one. This is actually aimed for kids. It's a Kent Airheads Glow. And these are really good on wet hair because they don't sort of stick or, cause that horrendous pulling sensation that you sometimes get if you've got knots and tangles. These are really good. I don't know how it works, to be honest, but these are really good at actually detangling hair when you've come out of the shower and you just want a really clean base to start from. These come in a multitude of colours, and they're a little bit like tangle teasers. If you're a fan of tangle teasers, then these are really great. Denman also do some fab affordable buys in lots of different styles and colours that are really similar. Basically the bristles are plastic, they're really flexible, and they don't have those little nodules on the end which sometimes can cause tangling or catching on the hair. So these are a fab buy as well. If you've got hair extensions or really long hair, or your hair's really fine and prone to static, then these sorts of brushes are really great for you. So I've got a couple. This is by Isness, but it's basically a copy of a Mason Pearson, which are really expensive, but this is exactly the same. And this one's actually from GHD. And the difference with these is the bristles. So you can see from the side, these are plastic, and within each bristle you've got 3 individual bristles coming out. So rather than being you know, quite thick and quite sturdy, these are actually much more flexible. And I had this brush when I had hair extensions in, because it doesn't actually tangle within the hair, it doesn't catch the top of the hair extension or brush out the glue. So these are really great, not only if you've got hair extensions, but also again if you've got loads and loads of tangles. These are also really well known for adding a touch of shine to your hair. Again, I don't know how this works, I have no idea how brush technology works, but if you do repeatedly brush your hair throughout the day and you know, you want to have one in your handbag, these are really great at giving you a soft texture with still a little bit of volume, but also adding a touch of shine as well. You can pick these up sort of online and at various different sort of Boots, Superdrug, places like that, across various different price points. But these are really good for particularly long hair or fine textured hair that you don't want to brush away too much of the volume that you've created with your product. So these are a good buy too. Another brush type that I really love is a backcombing brush. You may have seen these odd looking things when you've popped into a high street drugstore. You may have seen them in the hairdressers or behind the scenes at London Fashion Week, but these are really great at creating volume at the crown, at the root of the hair, particularly if you want to go for a 60s look or a kind of messed up bedhead look. And all you do with this really simple brush, it's really teeny and this is the only function that it's got, is you just literally lift up a section of hair and you use this to press the hair down to the root and create that backcombed look. And you can see already just by doing that a couple of times that I've got a bit more volume. I'm not going to do that in this video because that's not what we're talking about today, but they're really great tools if that's what you want. It takes a bit of practice, and you definitely need to do a lot of sections and sometimes even do one section 2 or 3 times to get it right. They also have this pointed edge which just helps lift the hair, so that's what the hairdressers do when you're in the salon, is just really precisely lift a layer of hair so that you can get a great result. Because the bristles are so compact as well, and they're really, really sturdy, you can comb over. So once you've created that volume, you can kind of comb over the rest of it and style your hair really easily. You can pick these up from various different places. This one is by Kent, and I think this is actually a professional brand that the hairdressers use, but you can pick them up much more affordably. One of the most cliched brushes as well that probably everybody has in their collection but most people don't really use or know how to use is a round styling brush. Now this one is from Lee Stafford. It's one of his new ones that's launched exclusively into Boots, I believe, at the moment. And it's a round barreled brush. And at the end it's got one of those pointy things as well, so you can lift sections of hair and make sure you're styling. It's such a hairdresser thing. But what I like about this this brush is not only can you lift the hair, and the whole point of this is you're supposed to literally style hair like this with the hairdresser and curl it right down to the end so that you get a nice shape at the end of your hair. To be honest, I don't use this very often, only when I'm actually, you know, trying to create some really great volume or a really sleek look. But I do really like this because it actually has bristles that go in an upward motion. I don't know if you can see that if you look really closely, but normally the bristles just kind of stick out to the front. These are actually angled and pointing upwards, so it gives you really great grip when you stick it in your hair. So I don't know if I can do this because I've just washed my hair, but you can see there, if I, it's probably too heavy, but it pretty much stays in and sort of gives the grip that you need, which is a really great tool to have if you're repeatedly styling, particularly if you've got long hair and you want to create waves or a little bit of volume or a bit of a Kate Middleton inspired look. These are really great at doing that too, and they're affordable. They're by Lee Stafford, and they're available in Boots, so they're not going to cost you an absolute fortune. So these are basically all the brushes that I use for various different things. They're all affordable, they're all really simple, and they all have different functions. So it's definitely worth going and having a look in your local supermarket or department store and having just a bit of a play around with the different types of brushes that are on offer, and start using more than one when you're styling in the morning, because it will definitely make a big difference to your routine.